Good morning, America! And thank you for joining us today at Not Fake News Central. You can trust us because we are politically neutral, because we honestly know nothing about politics. My name is Alexa Luce, and I have the pleasure of being your hostess today. Let's begin with our very first story. Early last night, there was a robbery in Beverly Hills, California at the Kardashian mansion. Luckily, diamonds and money weren't stolen, but their pet Entoprocta was. Now, the really crazy part about this story, though, is that Entoproctas are so ugly. I mean, look at this picture of them. Now, for more on this story, let's go to our field reporter, Julia Katzeroff. Thank you for joining us, Julia.
Thank you for having me, Alexa. I'm so glad to be here with you. Let's dive straight into this robbery. Around 7 p.m. last night, the Kardashians' pet Entoprocta was stolen. The only reason we are covering this story right now is because America cares way too much about the Kardashians, and we need viewers. After extensive research, the Entoprocta are also known as goblet worms, and their name literally means, wait for it, anus inside. Anyways, there are 150 different types of Entoprocta, and these creatures only grow 0.1 to 7 millimeters. The majority of these creatures are tiny, marine, sedentary, and live in colonies or solidarity. The colonial species are found on every ocean, living on rocks, shells, and algae. On the other hand, the solidarity species are way more interesting because they actually live on other animals that get their food by producing currents. Some animals that solitary Entoprocta live on are sponges, ectoprocs, and sessile annelids. Now let's dive deeper with Entoproctas and talk about their structure.
Tell us more, please.
Glad to. Entoproctas are bilaterally symmetrical in unsegmented animals. Their cup-like bodies are divided into 3 main parts: the calyx, the stalk, and the stolon. Both the mouth and the anus open inside the circlet of tentacles, and their alimentary canal is U-shaped. In addition, they have a protonephroidal excretory system. Also, what I found really interesting when I was researching was that these creatures don't have circulatory or respiratory organs. Instead, gaseous exchange takes place over the whole surface of the body.
Man, sometimes I wish you didn't have respiratory organs. Alright, well, I gotta hand it to you. That was actually really interesting. Anything else you know about these creatures?
Entoproctas are filter feeders and eat microscopic organisms. This means that their mucus that they secrete by their tentacles traps small particles. If you look at the picture, there's a band of cells with cilia that line the sides of the tentacles. The cilia on the tentacles are constantly creating a downward current to bring mucus and food to their mouth. When they are done, the water current carries the feces away.
So I have a question for you. You said earlier that when these creatures mature, they become sedentary, which means that they don't move. So if they don't move, how do they do the sex?
I'm so glad you asked. Great question. Entoprocta are sequential hermaphrodites. This means that they are both male and female. This means that they are one gender first and then become the other gender afterwards. They are never both genders at the same time. These creatures undergo asexual and sexual reproductions. When it's time to do the sex, sperm is released directly into the water and fertilize the eggs on the upper surface of the calyx. What's really cool is that when the larvae hatch, they swim. This larva flow follows a typical spiralian pattern in development. Then, when their planktonic life is over, the larvae sink and settle into a suitable environment. Then, depending on the species, they will metamorphose into a small adult or become an adult through budding.
Wow. I cannot believe I'm going to say this, but good job, Julia. Thank you. Now, let's introduce Michael Liu, self-proclaimed expert and Entoprocta enthusiast.
Hey girl, how you doing? It's my time now. Today I'll be discussing my really cool phylogenetic tree. This tree shows the organization based off the 16 RNA sequences of the taxa. As we can see here, Entoprocta is closely related to its sister taxa Mollusca. In addition, the origin of this group is the Paleozoic era, and scientists believe that these creatures evolved from phoreanoid-like ancestors during the Cambrian time. My other tree was created based on data from a morphological matrix of characteristics. In this tree, the Entoprocta are most related to sea stars, earthworms, perch, squid, and crayfish. However, this phylogenetic tree is not as accurate as the other tree because it is based only on physical characteristics, not genetic information. Now, let's compare my phylogenetic tree with this other tree. In this tree, Entoprocta is most closely related to Cycliophora. Because they are both bilaterally symmetrical, contain more than 2 layer cells for their body, and possess a body cavity and a U-shaped gut. And finally, both of them reproduce sexually and asexually.
Thank you. And before we leave, I have 2 final questions.
Okay.
So, do you think that Entoprocta have any value to humans? And is there one more interesting fact you could tell us about them?
Well, those are very good questions. To be honest, Entoprocta do not provide economic benefit to humans. However, scientifically speaking, this means that there is still a lot of research that needs to be conducted to discover their potential benefits. Now, for your second question, a pretty interesting fact about the Entoprocta is that they are an ancient group of animals and there aren't many fossils due to their lack of hard body parts.
Oh, thank you, Michael. And a big special thanks to those of you who decided to waste your time and watch our show. I am Alexa Lutz, and we at Not Fake News Central wish you all a tolerable rest of your day. What did we say?
Bye.
What did we say?
I don't know. We screwed up that.